You still saying got no storage space. Okay, whatever. All right, and we live on YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is R.O.S.E Radio. I am streaming live on several different platforms at this time. But today I just wanted to work on a few things and also talk about how to pivot into your power because we're going through some troubling times right now. Since the beginning of you know what, there has been so many changes. There has been uh, stress added to the year, and right now there is a panic going on as far as the workforce, as far as people just trying to figure things out more quickly, and just like in sports, when we have to run and turn into a different direction. We call that making a pivot turn, and this is the time to pivot. Um, this is for anybody who is currently at work right now, even if you ain't at work. One other thing I wanted to say is if you are not uh, working at this time, or you have been under fire in this big frying pan that we are currently in right now, I want you to not feel self pity right now. It's time to do more. It's time to pivot in a new direction. It's time to make sure that you have um, everything in order so you can get ready for that next chapter, that next season that's coming, because there's a huge shift that's coming right now. And I just want to encourage everybody out there to, you know, make it happen. It is totally different right now in the workforce, and it's only getting harder. One of my biggest uh, pieces of advice right now is to make sure that if you are looking for employment, that you go through an agency. An agency is pretty much someone who works on your behalf and make sure that you are uh, not being seen, but they are basically shopping you to clients of theirs who are getting one second, who are getting work from people who are definitely serious about hiring a candidate, or you know, serious in hiring. There's been a number of ghost job situations. There's been a number of people just putting ads out there just to see what they can get, creating what we call a pool of candidates. And this is not working or going very well for a lot, because to me, I'd rather for you to go through a certain agency and get things set up and make sure you're being pushed in the right direction, because a lot of these people are just collecting information. Every single day I'm receiving a text message asking me about a new role, or working from home, making a certain amount of money. Don't be fooled by these gimmicks. Do not be answering these text messages that they are sending out on a daily. They are there just to simply collect your information. Do not believe these people, um, because it's not true. Um, and if they want to really talk to you, they will call you and basically state where they're from, where they're at, how they found you, X, Y, and Z. So, with that being said, that's that part on employment. Um, but right now, again, pivot is the word going forward, because it's like you have to make a change and you have to pivot really quick. And in most situations, some are in a position where there has been a lot of turmoil with several different uh, what is that? Several different situations as far as employment, and right now, again, it's real scary. Um, I want to encourage you back to a time where I myself went through my own troubles with life, and as we know it in the church or in the black church, as we can say, is trials and tribulations. And this was a situation that I was in when I was much younger, in my early 20s. And it was something that I had to pull myself out of, myself, along with trusting God. So we have to learn to go at God's speed. Sometimes that is definitely not where we want to be because we don't feel like it's moving quick enough. But what I will tell you is that in due time, you will see your ROI, which is your return on investment. And it is going to be greater than what you thought the last situation was. You right now are in emotion of, I don't see a way, I don't know what to do, I don't know where it's going. But as I always have my Bible on hand, as you can tell, that trusting this and whatever faith you believe to help you manifest something better because a huge shift is coming. Trust me, it is definitely coming. And you have to be prepared. Be prepared for that shift because at this moment, I don't know, we messed up. We definitely messed up. And you know what I mean by saying we messed up. I didn't mess up because I have, oh, wait a minute. I have proof of my portion of the pool from this past situation. And it's just not looking good. It's not looking good. Everybody's in a scramble right now. Uh, it's bad. So back to my quick story. Basically, you have to plan and prepare for what's to come. That's number one. In the past, anytime I've been in a situation when it dealt with things that wasn't going my way, sometimes you have to understand that this is probably a time that you need to sit and listen to what needs to be done next. And what I mean by that is let's say, for instance, you get injured. And I've been in that situation as well. If you get injured and now you either can't work or you got to take time off of work, use FMLA, uh, just everything is wrong. Things are behind. Uh, the stress levels are up. You're worried. This is a time for you to sit and think about what the next move is. This is a time for you to write down the things that you want because they're going to come as long as you stay active and keep progressing towards what you want to see. People always talk about, making attainable goals or writing down attainable goals or pretty much things that are realistic. And sometimes we don't. But I also have a journal. So in my journal, I ask God for what I want. I also write things down that I want to see happen. I take notes and try to figure out, what's going on. Things that are out of your control are out of your control. All you need to do is sit back and work on what you've been working on and watch it grow. So when I was in college, unfortunately, I landed myself in a situation that made me lose a lot. And on top of that, I had to pretty much start all over again. But being thousands of miles away from home, uh, being under a lot of stress, not knowing what was to come, it was a lot. During that time, though, I understood what the destination would be later on in life. Now, most people, especially the younger kids, they look at some of the celebrities and they're, oh, this just happened for them, in a short few years or a few months. And this is what we call what they believe is overnight success. It doesn't work that way. Some of these folks have been working for something for like almost 10 years sometimes. And just because you just now heard of them or they got a little bit of exposure, then they just went real big, doesn't mean that they didn't put in any work, doesn't mean that you don't know where they were when they were down on their knees, asking God, begging God, crying, didn't have any money to eat, all of the above. But you see everything that they have now, and you think that it's just that easy. It's never that easy. So when I was in college, I was in this situation by myself, and I wanted to get myself out of it. So I asked God to pretty much help me figure out this situation, and I pulled myself out of it. And there was help because there was at one point that I did stay in the shelter at the time, and I had those goals written down, and I was out of there in about 3 months. And it was interesting because I got up and did what I was supposed to do every single day, no matter if I was tired, no matter if I didn't want to do it, no matter if I had a headache, no matter if I was angry, no matter what. I got up and I kept making it happen. And that's what you have to do. You have to show up every single day. And this is why I'm jumping this channel back into motion of where it needs to be, because I myself find myself uh, becoming undisciplined in so many areas. But the greater part of that is I've been working on a lot of personal goals myself, and I've reached a few of those milestones. Um, and just because you don't see people, showing you everything they've done or things that they've achieved, this is because that's a personal situation. It's all personal to them. It's a humbling experience. You don't need to tell everybody about it. You don't need to gloat about it. You don't need to just show everybody. Nothing is show and tell, because my thing is, where were all of these people at that you want to show when you was on the downfall or, not at your best? Why didn't you show people then when you were not at your best? So just like my situation in my 20s, I was not in my best, and I did not want to share that story. I never wanted anybody to know. But the more I held on to that story, the more I suffered. And I just want to encourage anybody out there that if you have a story, if you have a struggle, you should share that with at least one person in your lifetime. If you don't even want to share it with the entire world, or if you don't want to share it on a platform or anything like that, what you go through will ultimately guide somebody else that's going through either that same situation, or help them remove that obstacle so they can get better, so they can, you know, see what's at the door before they get to the door and it's locked and there's no way to turn. Um, like I said, the personal goals are just a humbling experience. And wow, I got deja vu on that. I'm actually working on something too while I'm talking. So as you can see, I've also developed the skills of multitasking. But with that being said, your story will inspire somebody else. No matter how little you think it is, no matter how big you think it is, but you still don't want to share it, it will help somebody. And I love, love, love hearing stories. Um, if you don't know me now, you will get to know me soon. But I definitely am an old soul, and I I get that, and I receive that in so many forms because I've had protection all of my life from so many of my elders in my family, my matriarch, and even still to this day, I basically um, I get good energy from the elders because they're so wise, they're so knowledgeable. Um, why not? They've seen pretty much every decade we've been in our lifetime. I'm in my late 30s, so like we we really haven't been exposed to what they've been exposed to. But when you hear the stories and you understand the struggle, it just makes you want to push harder and makes you also want to help them mentally and uplift them because some of these stories are stories that one, some will never tell what is really the truth, no matter uh, how much they want to help you. They might go, they might run around the bush and tell you a whole different story or say it was somebody else and it was really that individual. But there's a lot that is to be known to help others. And I can basically say that my great grandmother was one. Every time I walked through the door, she would make me read a scripture in the Bible. And I remember this as a kid, and I'm just like, I don't even really know what this is about. I don't. Um, I was fortunate enough to have godparents, which are like your second parents, and my godparents were really, really the ones that helped me understand the Bible uh, at a very early age, and even still to this day, um, I'm, you know, grateful to have that assistance and that help because it not only helped me understand, it helped other people gain more knowledge that were around me because of the type of, uh, I guess, exposure I had gave certain words off or made me care for people when I saw them sad or down or talking to other people crazy as kids and, stopping things from escalating. Uh, they they were essentially my savior in that situation. My godparents just ever since day one, since the day I've been born, they've been there every single day. There was not a time that I did not hear about the word. They didn't listen to rap music. I couldn't watch Bart Simpson. It was wild to me. But I learned to become more disciplined in God and disciplined in the Word, and I'm able to share that and help others with that. And as a young person, you don't really understand church, so I just want to get that out there because a lot of people think, oh, you know, a kid's supposed to act a certain way. No, no, they don't. They don't know anything unless you teach them. So anything else that's going on, it's an adult fault. Somebody failed them. I, I mean, that's pretty much where the cookie crumbles because I get tired of people saying, "Oh, these kids are bad." This. No, they're not bad. They've been misled and um, untrained by people who also were either experienced traumatic things growing up or don't know. There were times when my own parents didn't know questions that I would ask, so I would have to go other places. Like, my godparents or somebody else I trusted, like a coach. And one of my coaches I still talk to this day from playing football, and it's when you have a environment, it creates exposure, and this really gives you a frequency of making sure that you are mentally prepared for life. Number one, everything else flows after that. So I made a post um, what's this? About God always being on time. And I keep looking at my watch because this thing keep buzzing, but I see what's going on here. Um, God is always on time, and I say that because even in the worst, He's still been there. Even when you didn't know how to move forward, you didn't know what was coming behind you, you didn't know how to make a move on something, you got that phone call, you got that email. Simple, just out of nowhere. And this is why you have to understand that where you are right now plays a big factor in how you pivot into your own power, because you have to figure it out. Nobody's going to figure it out for you. I tell my mentees all the time that you have to want it for you, plain and simple. This is especially in early adult life. Let's say, prime example for my college students, deciding on where to go to college. Let's start there. So we are in graduation season for high school. So deciding where you want to go to college right now, or it don't even have to be college. It could be a trade school. I find so many parents doing what my own parent did. I'll say parent because only one of them did what I'm about to say. Um, Trying to create a life for you, pretty much. You want to go to college, they want you to go to a certain college. They want you to go to college they went to. There's no choice about where else you want to go. You're going there. That being said, um, a trade school, they want to select a trade school for you because either number one, they're probably paying for it, which sometimes you don't have a choice. But if there is a choice and you feel that it's a better fit, you go off somewhere else and do what you need to do at that trade school, whether you have to pay for it or not. Um, when it comes to decision making, at that point, you're not going to have anybody to help you get through college, trade school, and life. Life is going to be one of the biggest curveballs you've ever experienced. And this can even go for some of those who are actually, let's say you're in your first semester of college right now. Let's just say you're in your first semester of college. Once you step foot on campus, that's it. Ain't no mommy, ain't no daddy, ain't no picking you up after school, like for some that may be used to that. There's no trying to go up to the school and say, can my baby resubmit this and this? No, you're grown now, quote unquote. You're grown now. So you have to figure it out. You have to make it work. Um, I had a situation before. I think I told this story before, but I had a situation before with a mentee who graduated from the same place that I did from high school, wanted to go to the military, but a parent wanted to go to college. Then they went to the college that I went to, which was crazy because I was like, I didn't even know that they were going there. And mind you, they went to the earlier program, which is called Jump Start. You go into summer, you get a couple of classes, you take those classes, and you move on to the fall. That individual did not a stitch of homework, not a quiz, a project, nothing. Straight flunked out in the summer program now. The summer program. Um, and it was wild because I pretty much did the same thing. And I'm just like, wow, I had fun when I did mine. So what is missing? What is the problem? The problem is, and the problem was that the mentee never told me that was they wanted to go to the military. So I'm like, how did we get here? How did we waste so much time? Why didn't you say you wanted to go to the military? Because my mother kept throwing it down and da, da, da. I'm like, I was like, if you would have told me you wanted to do the military, we could have just had that conversation, and that probably could have been a factor. But at this point, now we didn't waste the money. Well, I ain't no we in it. The mother didn't waste the money, even though they were federal government employee who made money. You didn't waste the money for something that the child already told you they wasn't interested in. So now you upset that you got to pay almost $9,000 for. I think this was the parents' lesson at that time because they were upset at the kid, this, that, and the third. Mind you, this wasn't known to me until they went back for the fall. So that's what really threw me off. Not only did you not listen during the summertime, once we got into the fall and we were almost 2 months in, now you're talking about, oh, he wanted to go to college. I mean, he wanted to go to the military. Nobody ever discussed that with me. Never. So this is why I always say that mentoring goes hand in hand with parents. I don't understand how some people mentor without the parent side because I don't know. I'm not the person that can just say, oh, drop them off at such and such location, do programming or whatever, and be gone. Mine is a more critical thinking, mental, trying to understand life, developing the skills that you need to develop, everything under the sun. All of this exposure is going to play its course in how your life is going to go later on down the road. And if you don't express certain things or you don't say what you want, how is anybody going to know? And this is one thing that my great grandmother always told me too. So, actually, two things. So, number one was speak up and speak out. Because if you don't, nobody ain't going to know what the hell you talking about. And that's being real. Number two, number two. And this is why I say this plays hand in hand with whatever goes on later down the road in life. Because number two was she said she worked all her life, jobs here, jobs there, nothing really. I guess I would say loyal, nothing really loyal, but in a sense of a paycheck is a paycheck. It can come from here, it can come from there, it can come from here, it can come from there. And she also said that, with that is that never give a job your life for 20, 30, 40 years. She said because she's seen people who worked 30, 40 years for a company. They were a good employee. They went to work every day. They did their job, did what they were supposed to do. But guess what? They got fired because sometimes they got sick early, or they got fired before they was able to retire. Now just imagine how you would feel in that situation. And mind you, I think I was about 17 when she told me that lesson. And I'm like, what? I said, so a company you worked for 30 something years fired you because you were sick or fired you before you had the ability to retire? And she was like, yes. And she said, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. She said, businesses are in business to make money. You are just a number. Remember how you get that ID number when you become an employee? That's the number. There's no real personal attachment behind it. Is basically what she was saying. You are the number. That number identifies you, your role, and what your role is to play out for the time that you're being paid to do it. So she said for those 10, for them 20, 30, 40 years, they paid you, which technically she was right. She was right, but right, and it was still wrong. You got paid. Every time you got a paycheck, they say thank you. This was for your work. Again, thank you. This is for your work. So you've had these consistent weeks of pay, consistent years of pay, and then all of a sudden it's a wash. And if the business is doing bad, the concepts are not there, that's when everything else comes into play. And you have to do what you call either a company reorg, where a number of people get let go, or you go through something which you call uh, a shutdown, close, out of business. We don't know what else to tell you. We can no longer help you. We're not in business. So just keep that in your mind for anybody out there. And if you're watching this now or you see this on a recording later, just understand and think pause. So if you're watching this now or you see this later, just understand that you have to make the best decisions for you. And they have to fit your life. They have to fit your education. They have to fit your desires. And it's okay to raise the bar way higher than sitting in a cubicle. And I'm going to tell you this story. I never really wanted to work for, let's say, the GOV. So I've worked in areas outside of that. But because of the things that I saw and what my great grandmother told me back in the day, I saw how many years it took to get this grade and get this step, get this step, get this step, get this step. So many years you had to be there to get X, Y, and Z. And I won't say that you settled for that. I'll just say systemically, that is the norm. Oh, you got to get you a good government job, da 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 da. Okay, fine. But everybody needs are not the same. Prime example, a young graduate just graduating would rather make more money with no benefits versus a young mother or father or family with children who would take the lesser pay or same pay. Just depends on what the offer is. But they need the benefits. And the benefits are very good. And the benefits are very cheap because of the scope of everything. It works. It works for them. It works for you. It works for the family. So I just want those, and especially those who are about to graduate, I want you to understand the type of situation you are about to go into, especially when going into the workforce. Because I've already had mentees who are opting to go to grad school because they cannot uh, find employment. But the thing about it is, they were already thinking about grad school. And I don't make choices for them. I give them advice and give them freedom to think on things, because what I don't want to do is to plan your life or plan your next chapter. That comes from God. That comes from above. So wherever you end up at, whether it's at grad school or at a law firm or at an agency, listen, that's where you're supposed to be. I'm so thoughtful when I think about life and try to understand like where things are supposed to be at, where they're supposed to go, how it's supposed to go. This is why it's called a journey. You don't really know what's next. You don't. You don't really know what's next. Hold on one second. TikTok, y'all killing me with this time stuff. I don't even know how to push this thing over. What is this? Which of these objects is a musical instrument? Are you serious right now? All right, TikTok, y'all doing too much. All this extra security on stuff. I don't know what's going on. The world is weird. When I say the world is weird, I really feel like it is not only slowing down, it's just stuck. It's very stuck. Um, and I think this is for somebody else out there. You might feel stuck right now. Whether you're in your head or you just feel like you're in a situation you can't get out of. Things take time. So I want you to understand that whether it's a short time or a long time, things always take time. I've been in a situation where it's taken me a couple of months or even a year or more to get back to where, you know, I needed to be. But this is also along with the journey. So don't just sit there and, be sour about the situation. Grow through that situation. Nothing grows without stress. Like muscles have to be under stress in order to grow. Think about that. When you start going back to the gym, which me, when I first started back, but I had a situation that happened before that with the sciatic nerve situation. And Lord, I felt like I was 80 trying to get off the bed. I'm like, oh my God. Um, Things take time. They really do. Uh, and if you want to progress towards that situation, you have to pivot and you have to be disciplined. You have to do it when you don't want to do it. Ooh, look at me talking to myself as well. So don't feel like that I'm just throwing this out there. I am talking to myself as well, because there are a number of things that I've pushed off to recover uh, with the way the world is going right now. Let's just say that. And things have been shifting in all different directions, but you have to You got to backtrack, you got to pivot, make sure that you are in the right direction, canceling out all the noise, making sure that you are keeping a clear and conscious mind. Because I'm going to tell you, there are things that are against you right now, whether you know it or not. Some of you can feel it. Some of you probably can't feel it because sometimes things do sneak up on you. They do. But I can promise you that if it takes all of that to go against you, then there's something greater inside of you that other people see that you don't see. They don't see it, but you're shiny. Let's just say that. You're shiny right now. That remind me of my favorite song with my niece and nephew from what's the Moana, Shiny with the crab, with the crab and Maui. But yeah, you you are hurting, healing, but health and happiness is coming. It's coming quicker than you think. Uh, so don't worry. Try to find what you want next. Try to meditate on the things that you have been imagining and the things that you want to see come in full blossom. Just and do it quiet. Do it quiet. You don't have to post everything all over social media. Um, because you don't want the feedback of the naysayers or the negative things of why you doing this, why you do that, who you think you are, yada yada yada. Mm-mm. You don't want that. A lot of people will be humbled by what you're going through right now. And again, share your story. I can't tell you this enough. Um, I used to do a segment with the program called Share Your Story, SYS. Uh, and I might do that here soon. I might do that here soon. But I will be sharing stories once again with some great people, some who have already done podcasts with us, and then some interviews that I have coming up. This is Autism Awareness Month, so I've been reading up a lot about it. Uh, I also personally have a godson who is autistic. I see a lot of people on social media posting about autistic uh, children and adults and seeing the stress levels of parents and understanding that they go through a lot. And I just couldn't even imagine. I saw this one video and it had me to thinking about the way my godson acted one day. Um, we were in the city, and then this was years ago. He was young, but now I was like, wow. And I'm gonna tell you what it reminded me of. So the video was basically a mother walking with a kid, and then it was like all these sensory things. And it was like, oh, just imagine yourself as an autistic child, yada yada yada. And then it was police sirens over here, paper crumbling over here, people talking over here, cars flying by. You can hear the motor like at a high frequency. And it was just like, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I never really thought about that. And this goes into the point I'm trying to make is that you don't really notice everything until you notice everything. It could be now, it could be later. This is also why this is the journey, whether it's short term or long term. This is what I'm saying. But with that being said, it also made me think about how we sound when we ask God for what we want. And I was like, it's millions of people on the planet. And I was like, and those believers of faith and all of that. I was like, just imagine how much stress we be under with some simple things. And I was like, can you imagine being God and hearing all of these people asking you for this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that? It's like it's an overload. It would drive you crazy. It would make you go insane. But I was just like, wow, we asked for a lot. But wisdom and wealth goes hand in hand. So you have to understand that the wiser you get, the wealth comes after that. And with that being said, you gotta have a game plan. You gotta get smarter. I've always been the person to work smarter, not harder, because I don't really want to do stuff with my hands unless I have to. Like I can fix things, but I'd be frustrated in doing it because number one, I don't want to do it. And just think about that. Times when you don't want to do things, but guess what? You did it. You accomplished something, you made it work, you figured it out. It was not a focus of yours, but you made it complete. Trying to think. We are in what, the middle of April now? Have a lot of work to do. And I was like, a lot of work, I mean a lot of work. Um, the Cool Kids Club is starting back up again. And I'm actually gonna do that one on a discount because I'm trying to expand my territory and I understand the hard times that parents go through. So this would be a great thing for anybody who needs a mentor out there. Um, and mentoring is pretty much a power, a exposure that every child should have at a very young age. There's not even a grown adult that doesn't have a mentor, whether they are a friend, a business mentor, somebody in the workplace. Even in the workplace, you have different divisions that have mentorship. You have different organizations. Prime example, let's say Black engineers, women of communication. That's the way it is. Everybody need a mentor to keep that mental capacity, to increase your wisdom, to make you a stronger individual, and to just create the positive and happy moments in building not only yourself but others around you as well. That's just the way the world works, and I want people to really understand that. But I've been designing the website once again for the Cool Kids Club, which is a digital mentorship program where I teach project, not program, project, because we do projects and we progress all the time. So um, it's a digital online platform for students from K through 12 and also my mentees in college, HBCUs, and PWIs. So I really want to uh, make sure that they're well taken care of mentally, physically, and then also within their education, so they can remove all the obstacles that I had, that you had, and be able to have a great experience in school throughout their academics and on campus. So that's the new build up with the website. I'm really excited about it. I've sent it out to friends to get feedback or whatever the case may be. So I'll post that link under this video as well. So once again, I want to thank you all for chiming in. And if you have any questions, you can always email directly, and I will put that email down at the bottom of this video once it is fully downloaded. And you can find us on TikTok at Rose Youth Radio, and that is all lowercase. Rose Youth Radio, all lowercase, and then also my co-host is Big Homie Poetry. So I will also put that tag under this video as well. I want everyone to have a great day, and this will be a daily task for me to do a live, and also have other videos that I'm going to repost from things that we've already recorded from earlier this year that I posted on a private platform, which goes out to many streaming uh, channels. But with that being said, if you are at work right now, no matter what is going on, make sure that you are working towards your personal goals. And if you need help, ask somebody. If you're in school, enjoy this time. Don't make it a stressful situation. Do homework at appropriate times. I used to do mine before I started work, uh, when I was working and going to school at the time. So I would do my discussion questions ahead of time. And then some I would copy and paste because there were questions that were asked over and over for each course. So I'll get into all of that later, but I just want everybody to basically improve everything that you're ready to learn right now. Make sure that you are developing skills that are going to enhance you into a better place in a different space. And with that being said, I will see you soon. Bye bye.